Ashley here with another reading, and well, let's just say I finally managed to get the audio to work properly, because the last time, well, last video, it was still me pretty much trying to work around it. But yeah, also now you can pretty much see that this thing is wireless. Also, take a good look, guys, because this is pretty much me stating that I'm not gonna be wearing this anymore for reading. I'm sorry, but I still will keep it. Only because I don't want to risk, this being kind of an issue. Plus, this is pretty much where the mic is clearly, well, you'll be able to hear me clearly if I try to wear it. So yeah. Anyways, this is going to be the prequel story to the more Danny story that I pretty much just read a while back. So, yeah. With the story, let's just say it's got self-hurt in this kind of story as well. So, if you're offended or just easily sensitive, so I highly suggest you pretty much leave. For the rest, I hope you all enjoy, for we are going to dive into the story, Comfort. Let us begin. You failed the mission! Dr. Eggman yelled as Danny finished the report. The freedom fighters found me out and attacked. I had no choice but to flee before I was to become a hostage. I lost the target. The blue fox hung her head down in fear and disappointment. The doctor continued to scold and bark at her failing. 3 hours later. Just saying. Danny hated failure, especially when it was serving someone like the doctor. It made her feel worthless. After a long lecture, she was placed on standby until her next mission. She was excused from their small meeting and left for her quarters. Danny walked through the metal quarters with many things swirling inside her head. Another failure on my record. This is the fourth one these past 3 months. She said to herself, how can I be so clumsy in my work? Danny reached her room and closed the door behind her. She didn't feel like talking to anyone today after such a massive failure. The fox removed her clothes and went to take a cold shower to help ease her mind. Well, that is pretty much the best way to pretty much, well, make your pains and troubles soap away or something like that, or melt, either way. So I totally agree. As she stepped in, she couldn't help but feel a sense of deja vu. Yeah, this is kind of a deja vu because there was actually another story I actually read, but it involved Clove, and let's just say it starts sad at first, but then it pretty much goes into a better, a rather sweet, touching ending. I'll pretty much get to that when I get to that. Anyways, she turned on the water, letting it run down her hair and fur. She felt bitter memories start to return to her. This was always how it started, trying to relax after a rough day like this, and only to get reminded of her old self. You are nothing but a worthless piece of trash. You will never find a place here, even when you are a tool. She tried to shake it off her back as she washed the dirt out of her blue fur. It was one simple task and you messed it up. Learn how to do your job! You had one job, Danny! One job! I expected that Eggman would do that. Just saying. She rinsed her hair from the shampoo as she brushed it out with her fingers. No one can ever love such a hideous and clumsy creature like you. So just crawl into your little foxhole and die. Fun fact, foxes do in fact have burrows. Well, they use burrows, just saying. Anyways, a searing pain went through her back as the memory played back in her mind. She lifted up her arms, revealing the scars and markings upon her. The bitter reminders of what she was and always will be. Her back went against the wall, slowly slid down and curled up in the corner as the water continued to run down her back. Her body, ugh. Days like this really made her feel so small and worthless. Only one thing would cure her, but only for a little bit. Danny got up and finished her shower. After drying off, she puts on a sleeveless top and some shorts. She didn't bother wrapping up her hair in a towel this time around as she headed to her room. It was quite small, but roomy enough to move around. There was a vanity across her bed that only contained her essentials, like her hairbrush, self-defense weapons, extra ammo for her gun. Please deposit any valuable material in the security box. Take a wild guess where that's from. And a few old pieces of jewelry from her mother that she couldn't let go. She opened one of the drawers of the vanity that contained a few small boxes, all of them made to hold jewelry except for one. She grabbed the wooden box in the back and opened it. Within it was several small blades along with a detachable handle to fit the blades. Danny took out the handle and her desired choice of blade and locked it in. She then went to grab something from under her bed. It was another box, but it was locked. She placed the combination, I finally got that word right, and opened the old box. It contained medical supplies, and white rags was stained with red. The fox grabbed her supplies and went behind her bed and started. This really is the only way for me, isn't it? I really am worthless to them. But yet, I am all they have. Funny how desperate people can be. I wonder how everyone else back on the island is doing. Not missing me for sure. She thought to herself as she continued on with her pain relieving session. Can someone give this fox a hug, please? Or in this case, why wasn't Nephis mentioned? Because clearly, Nephis would have actually helped. Because, come on, Nephis is Mama Bird, and Mama Bird would be there to help. Ugh. Anyways, sorry about that. On the outside, Mordred Hood was walking around looking for his fox friend. Yeah, by the way, guys, this is when the two were actually dating. At this point in the timeline. He's been asking around to see if anyone had seen Danny. He had asked the doctor a few minutes ago, and he told him she came back a while ago. The Green Cobra went to check in her room. He knocked a couple of times upon her door. Danny? He received no answer. The door was unlocked, so he slowly entered the fox's domain. He saw no sign of Danny anywhere, but her shoes being here told him another story. Mordred then entered her room. As he walked in, He noticed a pair of fluffy blue points with black tips up behind the bed. Mordred was relieved to see it was his fox girl again. As he walked around the corner, he saw the heart-wrenching scene in front of him. His eyes widened as he felt his heart stop. Danny's arms were bloody. The towel on the floor looked almost drenched. And Danny was the one doing it all. Mordred yanked the blade out of her hand and grabbed her arms. Danny! What are you doing? Danny could only stare into the eyes of the cobra as he waited for his answer. She expressed fear and sadness as tears started to roll down her white muzzle. Mordred felt her head tilt into his chest as she quietly sobbed. Mordred pulled her into his embrace and gently stroked her damp hair. He gently hushed her and spoke softly, not wanting to startle her again and make her run. He made the same mistake once. He won't make it again. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shout. I was scared. Danny tilted her head up. Are you okay? He asked the young fox, but she didn't answer. Mordred didn't want to waste any time in case she was bleeding out. Mordred grabbed the clothes off the floor and started to clean off the blood from her fur and wrapped it up with some gauze and bandages. Mordred smiled and gently patted her head. You'll be okay. Danny looked up at him. She still looked sad. I'm sorry for scaring you. It's a bad habit of mine. No, wait, that's Danny talking. Ugh. I'm sorry for scaring you. It's a bad habit of mine. Mordred sat right next to her on the floor and tried to comfort her. I thought you said you were done with... I thought you said those days were behind you. Danny pulled her legs up to her chest. It's hard to get rid of when you get constantly reminded of it. I feel horrible every time I fail my missions because of it. It makes me feel like I'm nothing but a worthless tool. Mordred pulled her into his arms once again to comfort her. That's not true. You are the most capable, intelligent, and strongest woman I have ever met. Don't let any of those voices tell you otherwise. Ah, Mordred. He's just a guy who knows the right words to say. Because he's Shakespeare, of course. Oh. How could you guys not like this guy? He's adorable. And he's really sweet, too. Danny looked up at him to see his smiling face as he gently wiped away her tears and continued. If you ever feel this way again, just tell me and I will be there for you in a heartbeat. She wasn't sure what to think. You promise not to tell anyone? Of course I won't. This will be our little secret. Danny smiled back at him as she hugged him back. Thank you, Mordred. Anything to keep my girlfriend smiling bright. The fox gently placed her head upon his chest and rested in his embrace. Mordred stayed with her for the rest of the night. He wanted to make sure she was safe. The cobra gently stroked her head as she fell asleep in his arms. Mordred pondered to himself, does she really do this to relieve herself of her pain? Mordred looked down at his arms and gently stroked the bandages. Fear gripped at his mind as the ideas of her possibly trying this again, and possibly dying from her self-inflicted wounds. He gently gripped the fox tighter. I won't let it happen. I'll never. He said to himself as he kept the fox secure in his arms for the rest of the night. And that is comfort, guys. I have to admit, it is a sweet story. And, oh boy. I just feel so sorry for Danny. And Mordred, He was such a good guy in this. I mean, seriously, he's just really sweet. But once again, guys, this does feel like that one story that involved Clove, but she's worried about Cassia, and well, let's just say I might get to that. But for now, I hope you'll enjoy this, and well, I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.